Good afternoon. Welcome to the June 1st Penfield Trails Committee meeting. My name is Bob Ansaldi. I'm filling in for our chairperson, Nels Carmen, who's unavailable this evening. So welcome you, those of you who are watching, either live or recorded. First of all, take a look at our agenda. Does anybody have any additions or deletions to the agenda you want to suggest? Hearing none, you can always add stuff later. Let's move on to the approval of the minutes from the May 4th meeting.
I'm going to say let's approve them. I will approve the meetings, or the agenda, excuse me, of that meeting.
Well, folks are just doing a quick review of the meeting minutes. Just a reminder that we are having a guided hike on June 11th at our new 4 Mile Creek Park. It's the Penfield 4 Mile Creek Park, not to be confused with the Webster 4 Mile Creek Park. June 11th at 9 a.m. And then over the summer, we will also have another guided hike July 9th at the Abraham Lincoln Park, again at 9 o'clock. And last for the summer is August 13th at Ellison Park. So, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll approve the minutes, yes.
Okay. Second? I will second it because I'm not sure Eleanor can.
It's not legitimate for me to.
Right. Okay. So.
Tim, you're up.
I don't think I'm allowed to.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
He's not.
Oh, that's right. We could have added to it. So, next on the agenda is the summary of what happened at the May 14th Harris Whalen guided hike. Carol, you said you attended. Would you mind giving us a summary?
I'd be glad to do that. I was very impressed with the knowledge that Nels has on the identification of the plants and the trees. I've walked that park for many years, not recently, but anyhow, I never knew the names of any of those trees, and I was impressed with how we went over every part of that park, every possible trail. There was a group of about 8 people, all women, who were very knowledgeable. They had plant books or little phones or whatever with the plants in, and they were very knowledgeable. They were very happy to see. We saw far more than Trillium. I mean, we did see Trillium, but we saw many other plants. Nels also pointed out the poison ivy that was climbing up several of the trees, which I would have never even, I thought that poison ivy did that. So, and it was just a really good trail. And our trip, I would say it took maybe an hour. We were done by 10 o'clock. We started promptly at 9. The weather was good. It was good. I mean, I'm familiar with that park, and I just was not aware of what a wealth of nature that's in there. I was very impressed. So I was glad to have been able to have been part of it.
Thank you for the summary. It always amazes me how much Nels knows.
Yes.
And the other trouble I've had is when I've been leading a hike without him, and people have asked me, "Oh, what's that flower? What's that flower?" I said, "I don't know." That's because I don't know that stuff.
I agree with you, Bob. I would have no idea. The people that did identify plants were just so thrilled and so happy to identify it and see it, and it was really productive. I could see. I don't know how these people, I've never seen them before, so I don't know how they know about this and how we advertise these trips. And but apparently they do this quite a bit, this group of women.
Well, there's usually a group that comes to almost all of our trails hikes, and some of them are pretty knowledgeable, so maybe.
Yeah.
But
might be the same ones. So they must have a way of knowing
yes.
What's coming up, and I'm hoping we're going to have the same kind of success in June as well as July and August.
So for our guided hike on June 11th, at the new Penfield 4 Mile Creek Park, I know first up we want to do a little bit of a dedication ceremony for sort of dedicate that new park.
And only that I think we
Are we giving up on that, or?
We're not giving up on it. I think we're going to push it back a little.
Okay.
To a different time, because as we were talking before, I think the Amish family, we can't get a hold of them, but we want to make sure that this it does get memorialized somehow
Okay.
with them. So I believe we'll try to push it back to a different hike time or a different standard, so where we can get some people together and actually do it properly.
Okay.
Do a nice proper job with it.
So this will just be our standard guided hike.
Standard guided hike.
I'm not sure at the moment if I'm going to be able to attend. Do either of you plan to be there?
I am. I was just going to ask, do you think we're going to go the whole 4 miles? That's a lot of walking.
It's
No,
not 4 miles.
It's a 4-mile creek. It is a very small park.
It's
I'll
very
be there.
small. We could do it 4 times.
Yes.
It's only 22 acres.
It's only 22 acres, Ed?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, we should be able to do that in about a half an hour if we walk slow.
Good, because I don't do 4 miles anymore. I was going to ask Tim a quick question about, is that land over there was dedicated as a memorial to?
No, it was dedicated. It was dedicated to the town of Penfield by the Amish family, and you could, when you guys go there, there's a sign out front saying 4 Mile Creek Park / property. I believe it says on the bottom dedicated or donated by the Amish family.
That's their name. That's not
Yes.
that's
Nope.
not their sect.
Nope, that's their name.
Okay.
And
He used to work for RG&E.
What's that, Ed?
He used to work for RG&E.
They use the word.
they
He used to work for RG&E.
used to work for
Oh,
them.
work for. Oh, yeah. Oh, so they're local. They must be. If he worked for RG&E.
Now, Ed, you probably would know this curiosity question. Is there any chance, of hiking from our 4-mile park to Webster's? Is there?
Not yet.
Is that the hope?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay.
I didn't even know. Where is Webster's? It must be along that 250, or is it 250?
No, it's on Lake Road.
That's quite a hike.
Right. Obviously runs along 4 Mile Creek. So,
Okay. But it's still a long ways out there.
Most of 4 Mile Creek is in Webster.
Oh.
so,
I see.
so we're basically at the head of it. Our park.
Yes, we're on the headwaters.
Okay.
I noticed there's a sign for it down by Chutes on Plank Road. 4 Mile Creek apparently crosses there.
Okay.
Oh, the cider place. Really?
Yeah.
So next up, since we're not having a meeting in July and August, we try to do a little bit of guessing who's going to be available to lead the hikes in July. Again, I'm hoping to attend both July 9th and August 13th, but I'm not sure. I think we'll just have to probably exchange some emails on who's available, who's not.
To lead a meeting, to lead a hike, though, wouldn't we have to be knowledgeable on the plants and what have you?
Well, first of all, to be knowledgeable, that excludes me.
I'm not at all.
But the best thing to do is at least to know where you're going, to go out there ahead of time.
Oh, good.
And that's often what I've done when leading hikes is if it's a place that I'm not familiar with, I usually go sometime
Nels,
the week
You
before.
don't think Nels will be available to do this?
I do not know.
He might be. That might be something that you guys can discuss over email.
Right.
After this June 11th hike to see where everybody's at.
I can do June 11, but I can't do
You can do June 11th.
June 11, but
Okay.
I can't do July.
That's the 11th is this Saturday you're
Yeah.
talking about. Okay.
Not this
Is that
Saturday,
what
the following Saturday.
Yeah.
I know the one at Ellison Park, I know that's one that Nels likes because of that's one of his favorite ones to
Let's
do.
nail him for that one.
But see if he's available. So we'll check with him.
Come on, Nels.
All you have to do is follow the trails.
Yeah,
Right.
but Abraham Lincoln is a lot of up and down and what have you.
Right. That's actually,
Get yourself a trail map of the park.
I like the Abraham Lincoln Park. That's one of my
So
favorite
you're
ones.
willing to do that one, Bob?
If I'm available. The problem is I have that tends to be the second Saturday of the month tends to be one that I might have to work
Oh,
at.
that's right. You do work on Saturdays now.
So I never know for sure until
Yeah.
a couple weeks before.
You led that one last year, I think, and it was good. You knew where you were going.
Yes,
What is the date of the Abraham Lincoln one?
July 9th.
Okay. And the Ellison Park is
August 13th.
What? Oh, no.
Saturday, August 13th. So our hikes are always the second Saturday of every month.
Second Saturday, okay.
At 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock in the summers, 10 o'clock in the winterish months.
Okay. How many hikes do you have in the September through June, or in the colder?
We do a hike every month.
Okay.
So it's 12 months. If you include in this March where we did an indoor hike, or, we had this session here, but there's usually 11 or 12 outside, each month.
So when does the 10 a.m. one start? Like November, October?
I don't have the card in front of me. Ed, do
I
you
do
have
not. I also do not have the card.
Me neither.
I think it's October.
Sounds like it would be. Okay.
Eleanor?
Thank you,
Probably about
Ed.
when the time changes.
Right.
Hate that change.
Definitely that.
Yeah, that could be too.
On July 2nd, is the town parade, Independence Day parade. As always, we are invited as the Trails Committee to walk in the parade. I will say last year it was just Nels and I. I would certainly appreciate having more company.
Do we have a banner or anything?
We have a sign,
Yeah.
so Nels and I took turns holding the sign.
Okay.
So if you are interested, we'll do a check with people via email to see if
Bob, where do they start? Where do they end over here in Penfield?
it starts at the Penfield High School. So you go into park at the Penfield High School, and then you walk down 5 Mile to Penfield Road, up to Baird, and then come back in over by the community center, and then you can walk across the fields to get back to your car.
Yeah.
And when you go in to the parking lot, you say you're with Penfield Trails, they'll tell you what number slot we're in, and then you just find us.
They probably dump us at the end.
I think we were actually in the middle last time, so
Really?
we're a very important committee,
I guess so. I used to walk on the Parrington one for the Penfield, for the Dems over there, but I think we always got at the end. Oh, that's
If you
good.
talk to Ginny and get some wheels, she might be able to ride with you in the parade.
Okay. We can reach out to her. What about you? We can push you, Ed, if you want to come along.
I'd be happy to if somebody pushes me.
All right.
I'll touch base with you once I'm sure that I'm going to go.
We
And
could probably take turns.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's something that you guys can add into the email when you go over who's going to lead the July 9th and August 13th hike. Just add that into that email right after the,
right.
and I'll make a note to Andy to get that out after the June 11th hike.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Start organizing.
Tim, next up on our agenda, Eagle Scout project update.
So nothing's really changed since last time. We still got about 4 scouts. We just had another one interested in building another kiosk. It kind of involves the trails, but it's more for the disc golf course over at Shadow Pines. So, but no new updates on the various kiosks that the scouts are going to build for the trails. So, kind of in a holding pattern right now. The ball's in their court.
Okay.
You mean in the Scouts?
It's in the scouts court.
In terms of immediate trail updates, anyone been out to our parks and seen any issues that need to be reported?
We've checked some stuff here and there, but we haven't seen anything specific, huge. But if there's like a couple logs across trails, we've moved them. So nothing major that I've seen in my crew
Hopefully
seen.
the storm today didn't knock anything
Correct.
down.
We didn't go through during the storm, but hopefully there's nothing major.
I did see you were out mowing at Shadow Pines.
We mowed that last week or 2 weeks ago, I believe.
I was over there last week, so.
Yep.
Are you going to mow the trails on the other side?
Yes, we're eventually going to get the trails to the other side. Yep.
The other side of what? I mean, I know.
Shadow Pines.
The
I know
back
where Shadow
nine,
Pines
the
is,
old,
but
the old back nine.
The south
back-
side, on the other side of Clark Road.
Yeah, the hilly
really?
side.
Okay.
The
Yeah, I didn't know that they held that also.
Oh, yeah.
Tim, just a quick question.
Yes.
What's the name of that hike, those trails that are off of Jackson Road that everybody uses? And you go over the ponds and into the wild?
The 1,000 Acre Swamp?
Yeah. I found when I walked it that the boards were really kind of slippery.
That is run by the Nature's Conservatory. That's not a Town of Penfield park. That's run by somebody else.
Okay. It's a little tricky to walk on them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, those boards are always slippery.
I know. They're slippery and they're old. But
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of other business, any updates on the trail kiosk display standards?
Again, Andy and I are working on that. We're just trying to, we have a good idea of kind of what we want to put up there, but it's just, again, a holding pattern with this busy last month that we've had with getting sports fields ready and all that stuff. So we've been not on the back burner, but it's still in our minds.
Okay. And Tim, you mentioned the ceremony for 4 Mile Creek hike. We're going to delay that, so that's not going to be.
Yeah, I would recommend pushing it back just so we can have a better idea of how we're going to do it, if we're actually going to do like a ribbon cutting or some kind of dedication, that kind of thing. Make it a bigger deal than just showing up there for a hike, and hopefully having Nels there, somebody with some knowledge of the property.
Right.
That would help explain that.
But how would you do that at a later time if we're not even there anymore? I mean,
Maybe next year's.
oh, you mean putting it off substantially?
Yes. Either that or it would be up to the Trails Committee to see
Oh.
if you wanted to throw in another, spur of the moment hike there, if we advertise it, that kind of deal.
I see. Okay.
But I think June 11th is too soon for us to do anything without any organization.
Ed, is there any updates on easements or?
The only one, I'm going to speak to the town board tomorrow evening, or this evening, to see if we can finalize what's going on with the trail out of Ellison Park under 286. Tim has requested that he receive some direction from his boss or the town supervisor or Gary. So we'll pursue it that way. I'll talk to the town board tonight, and then we'll see if we can't get something put together with Marie.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business topics?
Just a little bit on the conservation board.
Oh, thank you. For some reason, that did not get on the agenda.
I blame
Well,
blame the person that's not here.
They're in the process of reorganizing with the town board. They're going to have a public jam session where they find out what their vision for the future is, because they are not reviewing properties anymore because there's nothing to review.
Interesting.
So they're having a meeting next Tuesday. Hopefully they'll have something put together by then. They did have a meeting that I didn't report on because I didn't see it, but I have the minutes or the agenda from the last meeting. But most of their discussion is what they want to do as a board in the future. And they're also working on whether they want to be a tree city for Penfield or not. But all this is going through the town board.
Okay.
Ed, what is their role? What is the conservation board's role?
Well, originally they were doing site observation for all new subdivisions and developments in the town, but most of that has come to an end. So what's happening now is just remodeling and a little store here or there or something like that. So they don't have much review to do. So they want to change their direction a little bit and be more conservation minded. They did have a guest speaker from Penfield Green at their last meeting, and I would suggest anybody that wants to find out what Penfield Green is all about, look at the Conservation Board last meeting.
Well, Penfield Green, didn't they talk to us a couple months ago?
Yeah. Myers spoke to us, and she represents Penfield Green.
Right.
I think they have a website also.
They do. They're very impressive. I'm just sort of surprised that we have so many new sites. It seems like when I drive around Penfield, I see an awful lot of new development. So why have they not found enough sites to go to do something?
It depends on what's before the planning board. That's who they're working with.
So they only get involved if the planning board asks them to, or?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's up to our town planner. He involves the conservation board with the planning board at the appropriate times.
Okay.
That's Doug Sangster.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
One of the things that they want to do is have people do less mowing, and we need more fields in Penfield and more wild areas, even in neighborhoods, for cultivation of wildflowers so that the pollinators have a place to do their work.
However, Ed, that's counterproductive or counter, I should say, to all the building that seems to have to be done so that we provide homes. So I don't know. I mean, we're knocking down trees in green areas like crazy right now. I don't know
Here
how.
we are.
I don't know how they're
But
going to.
we should be replacing what we knocked down. And we can also set aside some wild areas, even in our backyard.
I have a big enough property that I have a meadow that I don't mow on part of mine. And I have a stream going through it with lots and stuff. So I've got lots of animals too.
Wow.
That's the goal of the board, to promote more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's any land left.
Before we adjourn, anybody else have any other topics they want to bring up? I do have a curiosity question for those of you knowledgeable. Do we have many of our trails that are quote unquote marked, like where there's, like, I know down Honey Creek and it's marked there.
You mean marked?
So you know where you're going, specific, like a marked trail, because.
I don't think so. I know.
We used to paint blazes, and Terry Smith used to do that. But since he's quit the committee, nobody replaced him.
And I don't think it's been updated in a long time, and I think that would be part of the kiosk information standards that we could add in there, like the red trail, blue trail, whatever color trail you need, part of the mappage system on that. But that would be up to, the Trails Committee to step forward and do that and mark out the trails, I guess.
Yeah. And I'll tell you.
Get out and recruit some younger members.
I am working on sort of a little of a hobby to try to do something for Shadow Pines.
Okay.
So I've tried to map it out with a GPS.
Yep.
And I'll figure out how to.
Whiting Road Trail over in Webster, it's very well marked.
Right.
But I don't know whether, I can't recall whether it was marked with the degree of difficulty or the fact that you would stay on the same trail. I forgot, haven't been there in a while.
Okay. Anything else, folks, before we adjourn?
No, but I just hope several of you are going to show up for the hike on Saturday.
June 11th.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
I'll be there. You'll
Okay.
be there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We are adjourned, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.